moving day to day. Ominous cloud over there, and the weatherman said it's going to be sunny all day, but it's early morning, and if you look on that side, well, that looks a little brighter, and that's where I'm going. No guarantee that the sun's going to be out, but it's supposed to be. Quite like this spot in Hemel, Boxmoor area. I'd had a beer in there with some subscribers, so thank you, great chat. So I'm wiping the boat down, pre-moves, ready for a 7:30 start. Do you know what? I've done a big talky bit to this camera and it wasn't recording. Right pain when that happens. Proper pain. Now, around those flats there, as I said, second time now, there was a red squirrel. Now, Jamie sent me some pictures of the red squirrel. It's not red, but it's ginger red. Just to prove that there is such a thing. And what else did I say? Do you know what? Sometimes I waffle on and then I forget what I've said. Yes, it was according to the big yellow ball in the sky. My spirits have been lifted since April this year, and I've started calling the boat a home. It's taken from July to April, and I think that the switchover period was the sun. It started to warm up. I started to enjoy it a lot more, because last summer I travelled from Nottingham down into to London area, and do you know what? My head was up my backside. I was wondering how I was going to live. I had those anxiety things that you have to, new way of life, and how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to cope with it, all that sort of stuff. From April this year, sun's out, warmed up, I'm happy. I love the heat. So when people in this country say, oh, it's too hot, no. My last stops I did, it was 49 degrees at night. So to cope with the 35-degree heat here, even in this tube that gets decidedly hotter, I love it. Love it. Anyway, Dan's prepping the lock, and I'm going to do a bit of travelling. Sun's in my eyes. Catch you in a minute. So the routine is I'm closing up today. I don't mind actually, because I can do things at my own pace. and I can do some filming and stuff. I like that. Now I know people from other channels that have mentioned that boat. They even made it a thumbnail, I think. But here's my point. That is a particularly big boat. It's never moved, so it's permanent moorings. It must go through the locks and the bridges. But essentially, I think that's probably a 13.5-foot boat. Massive. That will be like a floating apartment. And you know what, if you've got a permanent mooring and you've got a boat that size and you don't plan on moving it, you just plan on living in it, why not? But it must be a pain every time you need to get it blacked. Fuel boat comes to here so they can get the coal or diesel or whatever they need to get. So it's good facilities around here as far as logistical infrastructure is concerned. So I get it. There's also another couple that spoke to me up at Hemel, saying that they want to move on a narrow boat or they want to move on the canals. But what's my views on wide beam boats? I don't have a view. Personally, they believe there's certain boaters that don't like wide beams. I don't care. You know, you've got a boat that fits your requirements. And I said to them, you know, if I had my time again and I wasn't going to move that far and I didn't plan on moving up and down the country, why not get a wide beam? Why not? So it's down to requirements, and you know, I don't think many people are concerned about wide beam boats. My only concern is, and it is a bit of a frustration, is as they go past, sometimes they go past at pace. Now, at pace, 1 mile an hour, 2 mile an hour, but the water displacement of a wide beam is different to a narrow boat. So I just wish as they were passing they would go a little bit slower. That's all. Other than that, I haven't got a drama. What a nice boat that is. See the scratch down the side where they've come in contact with the tree. Shame, innit? If the foliage had been cut down a bit, it wouldn't be so bad, would it? Shame. Clearly an expensive boat, lovely boat. I like it. I like it. Get it. I wonder if they have a back boiler. That's the reason why that's on. It's not cold, so there must be a reason for it. But Hemel, nice place. Now through this next lock is something called the paper mill, if I remember rightly. Nice area. Marina just on the left, and boutique type shops, and there's a pop-up coffee shop. Lovely, lovely. Now here we have the Poo Boat. The Poo Boat was run by a guy called Warren, and basically it's just 1, 2, 3, 5 septic tanks, a big hose that sucks stuff up, and a generator thing that generates some sucking. And I assume then this is the point where he gets it emptied at some stage or other. I don't know how often Warren works, maybe as supply and demand happens, but to my knowledge, this is the only poo boat on the section. Now the CRT claim that they spend an awful lot of money on things like vandalised LSAM points and all that sort of stuff. You know, when people just don't behave properly, or from outsiders vandalise it for whatever reason. Now the Poo Boat can deal with all of that. If there were more Poo Boats on the circuit, you wouldn't have the dramas with the LSAN, you wouldn't have the dramas with pump outs, because this fella does them all. And then all you have to worry about is the composting types. How do we do that? Well, I found a way to do that, and it works, absolutely works. So if you have a compost toilet, should you compost? Open for discussion. But for now, Poo Boats, I think, are the way forward. And if CRT could, I don't know if it's feasible to invest in things like a shell of a boat as a start-up. Warren charged, well, at least last year, £20 a pump out. I don't know how much you charge for a cassette to empty. Tip top. Well done, Warren, as far as I'm concerned. Peaceful. It's a peaceful part of the canal, this. But Dan's in the lock, waiting. Lovely job, fellas, well done. I won't get muddy feet in the winter. Some kids on a motorbike, brilliant. Look at this. Oh, okay, fellas, here we go. Thanks for the towpath in. So the towpath down here, I don't know where, we're kind of Kings Langley-ish way. But, oh, look at that. Winter time, you can see what a difference that's going to make. What I found strange back there, I was sort of filming the kids on the motorbikes, but the old towpath fellas, they wanted to get in on the action. Oi, they said, oi. Brilliant. Nice journey today, I have to say. Nice journey. Stopped for a bit. Dan's going to do a recce of Kings Langley area. I mean, this is a nice enough spot for a couple of days until my battery runs out, and then I'd have to move again. I don't think it's massively solar orientated, but there again, for the next week it's going to do nothing but rain. So today is almost mission critical unless you want to travel in the rain. My back end stuck out quite a bit. It's a bit shallow here, but you know what, it's okay. Nice towpath anyway, isn't it, eh? Nice towpath. So waiting for Dan to come back, and if I have to stay here, then I'm going to do a ground and detail recce and sort of depth of water survey and see where I can end up. And we ended up in Kings Langley, and opposite Kings Langley there were some swans and ducks, and they were preening, anyway, doing what ducks and swans do. I don't know what they do really. But there was another brood of ducklitz, fluffy things. Look at them, swimming around, don't they? Fluffy ducklings, that's what they're called. What are you doing? Oi, what are you doing? Oi, yes you. And then there were some swans. Why is he attacking my boat? Hey? What's... Not so sure that she liked me either. Don't start hissing at me, I'm just putting it... Well, you see, look at you. Hey? What's his game? What's his game, hey? But the cygnets were interested, I suppose. And with a flash of light, a puff of smoke, and before the dust settled, Warren had ended up on the back of his boat. Oh, I said, hello, mate. He goes, hello. How you doing? I said, all right, mate. All right. So I said to him, Poo Boats, what's the score, mate? Are you the only one on the circuit? He goes, no. He said, there's 2 more in London. One boat has everything on it, so it's a fuel boat, coal, wood, and poo. And the other one's another poo boat like Warren's. And London is its own metropolis, if you like. There's so many boats going on in London and stuff, making too much noise. So anyway, Warren is the only one who travels a little bit. Now, beyond where Warren travels, I don't think, and Warren doesn't think, that there's another poo boat. Oh, and before you ask, I would like to have a chat with Warren, but it's one of those things I don't want to force someone into talking to me and being on the YouTube. And so I'm hoping at some stage Warren looks at this channel and understands my intent. And I'd like to have a chat with Warren. I think he's a really nice bloke. He's got 2 lovely dogs. He does a fantastic job. One would argue it's his job, but and physically, but I'm sure he earns a bit of money. But there's some hidden costs in there as well. So you know, he has to have a pump out himself of all those septic tanks, and that costs 240 quid, I think he said. So the numbers don't take for granted. Perhaps a poo truck that sucks out all the effluent from Warren's boat, or however he does it, I don't know. You know, the further north it goes, the cheaper it might be. I don't know, but there's some economics, there's some homework, there's some mathematician type stuff. All of those things I'm not very good at. I would like to have a chat with Warren. I think I could tell his story. Well, he would tell it, but you know, I'd prompt him along the way, and we could go through some of the mathematician type stuff, some of Warren's homework of what his costings are. I did ask, do you think this is a viable business to reduce the amount of vandalism and stuff that's on the LSAM points if we had more poo boats? Well, it's a job for people. Would you get people doing it? Well, I don't know. I'm sure you would. I don't know how much money Warren makes, but I don't think he's badly off. So that said, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. Those of you that have, and if you haven't subscribed, give it a go, because I like to talk about stuff as I see it on the canals. None of it's prepared. None of it's all off the cuff, and I talk as I think, which can be quite a dangerous thing. Anyway, until next week. Waiting for it. Waiting for it. Until next week. Ciao, Papa.